Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajwa. In today's video, the concentration is going to be on Middle Eastern fragrance journey. Here with me is C Chronicles, and she has been a pioneer when it comes to Middle Eastern fragrances. But I would like us to share some few ups and downs, the journey with our Middle Eastern journey, is more especially because she's the more experienced one. And I guess I have some few questions to that I would love to get some response or answers from. And I'm sure a lot of us are curious about the whole idea of who C Chronicles is, what she thinks about Middle Eastern fragrances in general, the saturation of Middle Eastern fragrances on the market. Is it sustainable with the way that the houses are, bringing out fragrances all the time, the ups and downs so far when it comes to being a reviewer who talks about Middle Eastern fragrances. So I'm just going to start off by asking if by chance you would have, if money was not a consideration, would you have loved to do something else aside Middle Eastern fragrances? Because it looks like a lot of premium is put on designer and niche fragrances, and Middle Eastern fragrances are sort of, frowned upon in most instances. So if money is not a problem, a lot of us would have gone into designer, fragrance reviews. So do you feel the same way about, if money was not an issue, would you have gone the designer and niche route, or you still would have maintained the Middle Eastern route of doing videos?
Oh, to answer that one honestly, because I did not start my channel, structure it as a channel that I intended to take or direct to have a direction of just Middle Eastern fragrances. It was actually the demand that was coming that I had to respond to. I started obviously as a hobby, just like everybody else. And when I started, because I didn't know about Middle Eastern fragrances, I'm talking about 4 years, 4.5 years ago. I didn't know about Middle Eastern fragrances. I also started like everybody else, talking about what everyone knew. But it was the traction that the videos would take, the luxury, the niche, the direction that those videos that I would do, or the fragrances that I would do that are aligned with those very expensive, prices and stuff, would perform on my channel. That made me then say, because I have access to the Middle Eastern fragrances,
so
maybe
I can watching those videos, the designer.
They were watching. You see, when I started, it was I just have a love for fragrances.
Yes.
Middle Eastern, non-Middle Eastern, I love fragrances as long as it's a scent that I like. But the ratio in which the contrast, say for instance, I talk about one very popular niche house that everybody else is talking about, and then I talk about the Middle Eastern, there was a very big divide. Maybe because there were a lot of people that had come before me that were already talking about that had collections to show, that had made a name already. I'm not going to talk about Jeremy. He's the creme de la creme. He started this. He was the pioneer of this fragrance reviewing. But I'm talking about people that came after him, the Demi Rollins and stuff. So it was an issue of trying to squeeze yourself in there. I didn't even look at it that way, but it was saturated already, and it's not like I sat down and said, this is saturated. The algorithm helped me in showing me the direction that was better. Just, I think, like the flip thing that's happening now. The algorithm at the time showed me, okay, here I am going to buy, I'm going to say an example of an amouage. And I put all my effort and, all my knowledge talking about the amouage. But because somebody else has spoken about the whole range of amouage, nobody cares about the video. I'll get 50, 60 views. And then I'm talking about this completely new, fragrance, these completely new fragrance houses, these fragrances coming from the Middle East, which no one was talking about really because they were frowned on, and I was getting traction. So I just decided, to work with what the algorithm was pushing me to do. But otherwise it would have been an issue, and in a way it was a good thing, because if my channel had blown up talking about expensive fragrances, I don't know how I was going to sustain it anyway, being an African creator.
Same here. I knew from the beginning myself that I wasn't going to be able to afford that, designer niche route, so I had to do something to be able to be a little sustainable, although I didn't know what I was doing myself. Okay, so I get it now. Okay, so with the influx of Middle Eastern fragrances all over the market, how do you see this review thing that we're trying to do in the next couple of years? Do you think it is sustainable? Because it looks like now everybody seems to talk about Middle Eastern fragrances, which is a good thing because we are all looking for alternative to the more expensive fragrances. But how sustainable is it, coupled with the fact that the houses themselves are always pushing things down our throats? What do you think about that?
I would say the sustainability is questionable. I think it's an industry that's going to swallow itself up. Because too much of everything is not okay. We say it in African culture. We actually in Shona say when a drum beats so loud it's about to crack. That's the truth of the matter. That the way the direction in which a lot of people have taken to reviewing Middle Eastern fragrances is not really a problem, but it's just like, I think something that's going to happen, which is what happened even with the makeup industry. There was a time when I was on YouTube, I used to watch a lot of makeup. I'm not big on makeup like yourself, but I used
clothing holes.
Yes, clothing holes, but where are they now? I mean, if you look now, you'll see that maybe there's a few standing, but most are kind of swallowed in because when you have a situation that's happening now where I'm trying to use my words selectively, where and speaking for myself, it was more of a passion than, a passion for fragrances, which is why I even started a second channel that is contradicting what I'm doing. I'm talking about Western fragrances on there, although I bring minis. To me, it's a passion. It was really not about the views or the Middle Eastern, because these are the ones that are making me seen, and you know what I mean. But it seems as though it is that direction that it has taken, on all social media, and it's also putting the pressure on the Middle Eastern fragrance houses. It's a two-way thing.
Don't you think they are rather putting the pressure on us because they know, okay, there's
but we are sucking up,
that we are sort of advertising for them for free,
we are sucking up to it as well. So it's an equal portion blame here, where because reviewers are also ready to review the next thing, I took a back seat and I said to myself, whatever comes, what I don't get, because it's now become a fast fingers first. Who's got what, to an extent that I don't know whether there are some people that are looking at catalogs and trying to get the stuff before it even gets out, which is why I'm saying the whole thing is going to implode. The whole carpet is going to be taken down. It's a prediction. And I'm not hoping for it to happen that way, because
but it looks like
we enjoy this thing, but it looks like it's going to go in that direction, because if you're looking for it's literally an industry that's going to extinct itself, and there's going to be some people left standing, obviously, but I believe for that to happen, it depends. One has to be true to themselves. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it for the passion? Are you doing it for the views? Are you doing it because it's trending? Are you doing it, so there's going to come a point where some people are maybe going to slow down on it. The Middle Eastern industries as well will have to maybe slow down on it, because they'll clash. It's not going to be doable. This whole thing of having 4, 5, 10 things that smell the same and released at the same time, it's no longer making any sense. So it's just a matter of time before people catch on it that this is what's happening. So it's a two-way thing.
For me personally, not to catch you, but for me personally, I think what I have done that I sort of wish I really didn't do that or go that route or route is the fact that I started bringing in like the new thing every single, so it's like I feel like there's an expectation, although nobody has said it, but I feel like there's this expectation that once something is released, Ajwa has to bring it, Girl,
so, I like that she's owning up to that, because I look for Ajwa when something is released. You see that Latafa with the horns there. I'll be now that we are closer. Okay, it's not going to be like that. Obviously, you'll tell me, over the phone or something. But I was one of those people that I knew that I have to look at Ajwa's channel. She'll probably have it. So I'm glad you're owning up to that.
I feel like personally, I feel like it's a lot of pressure, you know, with the fact that people are looking up to you to bring in that, you know. So whether it's available, you have to look for whatever
make
it
ways
takes to bring, you know, to the channel, just because the expectation is that Ajwa is going to do it, you know. Somehow I wish I hadn't gone that, you know, route, because it's less pressure when you are the fourth or fifth person. And you know, it's also like, okay, maybe you're the first person to talk about it. There's no information, nothing on it, and then
and that's
talk
the
about
hardest.
it.
That's what people don't understand. That it's good to be the first one to talk about it to the viewer, but to you it's pressure.
It's a lot
because
of
you
pressure.
don't. There's no notes. There's nothing. They'll just release,
and you want to make sure you're getting it right.
Yes.
And once you know 2-3 people begin to talk about it, and we get to know probably what it really
is,
duping,
and you are telling them what you were thinking because you are doing your best. And it turns out it's not that. It's like,
you lied to us, she's not reliable. It's a whole lot, you know. So for me personally, I think that is one thing I wish I could take back, honestly. Although I want to bring that to my audience, I also wish I could take that back. I feel like it's just a lot of pressure, you know. But for me personally too, I think I can't really tell how this Middle Eastern review, it's a lot, you know. They are bringing in, aside the fact that you have to bring it first, you know, indirectly, it's a lot of new releases every single day. And now the prices of Middle Eastern fragrances are almost at par with the designer, you know, fragrances, basically. So you are putting in money that you are not even making, you know, in the on the channel. And it's a lot of financial pressure. It's a lot of personal, you know, you have to be thinking and reading and researching, and for me that is the most challenging part. Not even the financial aspect per se, but the fact that you need to source for it, be the first to, you know, nobody has asked you to do it, but because you started,
you set the precedence. You see, you are the one who started, so you may as well
as well just keep going. And I think for me personally, I wish I could have I could take that back, you know. Probably moving forward, I would try and balance that, you know. I'll try and balance that, you know. So yeah, when it comes to me personally, that is what I feel.
Yeah, but still don't go back on it. I mean, if you can get the new ones, get the new ones.
Of course, if I can, you know, but
as long as you're not going out of your way.
Yeah, sometimes I just feel like even the comments you get under some of your videos, you know, indirectly or directly, people are like, she wants to be the first to talk about it, you know. And that was not the idea, you know. I just so happened to get those fragrances.
Yes, you're closer to the distributors. So
the distributors. Yeah, I just so happened to get them. And
in all fairness, I mean, people should cut you some slack. I mean, if the new Latafa is near you and you're a reviewer, it's only common sense that you will bring it. So I do get it that, you know, some people will look at it with a side eye, but at the same time, as long as you're not going out of your way and all that to try and get it, and it so happens that you are. Remember, I even told you, I said, if you can get that Latafa, because you're likely to get it, you know, first, please try to organize it for me. There's nothing wrong with that, because unless you just started reviewing for the fun of it, or you're reviewing because you're just reviewing, if it's a passion, if it's something that you really like, it's a journey, guys. It's a discovery journey. It's not only that she's talking about the new Latafa because it's the new Latafa. She also wants to know what's you know, if there's also that curiosity, the mind wants to discover. It's like a traveler,
and the
you
fact
know,
that
they want to see more places and stuff. So that's how it's, and
the fact that personally I have decided to see how this whole YouTube channel takes me, whether I can concentrate on it as a career, whether full-time or part-time. You know, I'm trying to do that, and that is one of the reasons why I'm even here, you know, trying to do the collaboration with you and all those. So for me, I mean business. I try to do it with the mind that maybe in the next couple of years is going to be like a business or a good source of income to me, you know. So it's like, okay, what does it take to get there? You know, the question is, what does it take to get there?
First of all,
like, right now, sometimes it's quite exhausting.
It is.
You know, it is exhausting because you have to be just putting in the videos.
It is.
Every single day you are recording. And that is not the only, I also have things to do. You know, I have things to attend to. I have a business to attend to. I have a family to attend to. I have a partner to attend to. And you still have to find the time to be doing videos almost every day.
Almost every day, exactly.
It's a lot of
because
work.
even if you're not doing the videos, you're editing them. If you're not, you're thinking about what to do. You see, you're structuring your next content. So it's YouTube. It's a full-time thing, and you may as well, look at it that way. Especially if you have that magnetism. That first of all, you do have the passion, so it's coming from the heart, and secondly, you are getting response from what you're doing because people can see through you. It's the direction in which you will get to a point where, in fact, I would say this journey alone is enough to prove that you are willing to go the mile, because you are not one of those people that are just chancing because, I've got 4 or 5 fragrances there, then I can review, or Middle Eastern fragrances are cheap, or there's a hype, or I'm going to do the numbers. You just by this journey have taken a chance that whether the numbers get there or they don't, I'm still going to do. So yes, it's something that will end up as a full-time thing. I also did not start thinking it was going to be a full-time thing, but it was the passion. When I started, I didn't even know whether people were going to press play. I didn't know whether after they press play they will listen. I didn't know they were going to interact. I just started, and it so happened that
it is worth it. Do you think it is worth it? Because currently I'm not getting anything from YouTube. I think I did a video a couple of weeks or a month or so ago where I spoke about my moment of honesty, where I spoke about the fact that whatever money I make currently is what I use to sort of repurchase the fragrances for the channel. At least I'm at a point where I'm able to recoup whatever money I use for the fragrances on the channel, but aside that, I don't make anything extra, and I'm trying to at least do things to help the channel, then I can make some extra money. You have been here for 4 years now. Do you think it is worth it? Has it been worthwhile?
I think the fact that it's very challenging, consuming.
Considering the fact that between you and I, we don't get those PRs, we don't get that because of probably where we are. We don't get that. Honestly, we don't. So everything you see us do is out of pocket, funded by AdSense, and that is basically it, So do you think it is worth it? At least
I think it's worth it in the sense that if the journey was easy, then if anything is easy, everybody will do it, right? Now it's worth it in the sense that for you to keep wanting to do this then shows that it's a passion, because this is where the divide is now. That as I gave as an example, that it's easy to have 5 bottles and say, okay, I'm going to review them because this one is sweet, this one is sour, this one is that, and that's it. YouTube will teach you. YouTube will direct you, right? YouTube will not pay you even for 2 years, 3 years straight. I've been there before. You won't get anything that is decent. It is that resilience, right? It is that passion. It is where the divide then is created there. Those who are sincere and those who are not. So it's a good thing, actually. Frustrating as it is, it's a good thing. Because, that's what happens with each and every industry, actually, where some people will tell you, some people will give up along the way because it's not a quick buck thing.
And that is so heartbreaking.
It's not
channels that
it's not a quick buck thing. Already. Yes, it's not a quick buck thing. First of all, you have to want it. It's not a sort of thing that I can take a friend and teach to say, oh, you're looking for an extra money, come and do reviewing. It has to be inborn, something that you genuinely have a passion for. And that passion supersedes, what you're spending, what you're going to get, the money, the whatever. Because when it comes to the money, if you're an African creator, especially doing this where you constantly have to be paying for each bottle, It's exhausting. It's
Frustrating.
it's yes, it takes away money. That I always look at it this way, because I'm still living under construction. A bag of cement in my country is $12.50, but usually we round it off to $13 because I told you we use US dollars and we don't have the 50 cents. So you round it off to 13. How? Because you get maybe I don't know, like sandpaper to make up for the 50 cents. So it would then be it would then be $13. And I always say, if some of these bottles that I have here were bags of cement, I would have maybe finished my house to the T, but because I have that passion, I'm nobody's sending me to do this, but I'm doing it from the heart. And it is that passion that people will see through you and you start to grow. But anybody who is into YouTube, thinking it's going to be a quick fix, it's really not like that. Unless maybe you are lucky, unless maybe you are maybe in a country where you don't have to pay for anything, you're gifted, and all you have to do is switch on the camera. If you're doing things like us, it's exactly what you're going through, Ajo. I went through that. You go through 2 years, 3 even, without getting anything decent, and your collection keeps growing and you keep paying and paying and paying, but eventually it will add up. This is why I said you have to have that passion. It has to be from within. If it's not, you will switch to something else very quickly, because you will see that this thing it's not a waste of your time, but in a way you'll see that it's taking more than it's giving. So at this point in time, look, you have spent on air tickets, you've spent extra, you've done this, you've done that. It's combined. Maybe ever since you started your channel, you haven't even made that kind of money, but you have sacrificed because it's a passion of yours. So through that passion, if you continue consistently, it will get to a point where it starts then to pay you. And then you see the struggle to say, okay, I went through all this because of this day now, where I am now.
Well,
so yeah, in a way it's worth it, but in quotations, that's all I'm saying. It's worth it, but in quotations. I've always said, if you're starting a YouTube channel, start a YouTube channel around something that you genuinely love. It doesn't matter if it means you are under a car fixing a car with oil on your head and whatever. As long as it's something that you love, then you won't feel it. The thing that I see that is a bit worrisome is if you start a channel because you think, they just made stew, so they think they can make stew. So I'm going to start a cooking channel. Then chances of survival are going to be less, because you find that it's not limited to just stew. People want to see other things as well. And then you have this pressure of buying and buying. Whereas that person who maybe made the stew is a chef at heart, or they eat well every day in their home. So with YouTube, that is the thing. I always say it's not limited to fragrance reviewing. It's across the board. Start something that you're genuinely interested in. If you're a seamstress, just start sewing. Those orders that you're getting, just make sure you're sewing online. And that way it's not, even if it's not paying you, no, I had this cloth from a client and they wanted me to make a 2-piece. So they've paid for it. All I'm paying for now is my data. So it's across the board. It is worth it, but just make sure it's from the heart. Don't do it because fragrance reviewing is easy. Or I had a channel that I was cooking, and one day I spoke about La Via Belle, and then there was 10,000. So now it will choke you out. In fact, it will undo. You would rather stay doing what you are doing because it's not putting pressure on you than this, because this is going to put pressure. This is going to put pressure, and this is not to deter anybody, guys.
Definitely not.
This platform is open for everybody, but I'm just saying
I know. Like sometimes, it gets go like, okay, so when is the breakthrough coming? But I guess I'm just very optimistic about it.
It will come. I like the fact that you answered this in one of the lives where you said, I always loved fragrances. I was a person who was into fragrances on my own. I loved that, because somebody asked us that question, how did you guys even start? And I told them that with me, it was mostly my mother. I didn't know I loved fragrances. I knew I was pinching her fragrances. So I guess I loved fragrances because I would pinch her fragrances. And the number of times, you see, when you're a child, you don't even figure it out. You spray Chanel No. 5. You're spraying it so that, they can smell it on you. So my mom would always say, you have taken my fragrance. So I personally, it was through the love she had for fragrances that I was drawn in.
to.
Now, what I like about you is you loved fragrances anyway. So the journey might be slow, but because it's something that you genuinely love, you know, they say, do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. There's no statement that is as true, as sobering as that. Do what you love, it won't be work. But if you're doing it because there's a trend, it's a hype, it's, you know, then it will be work. So it will pay. But I'll tell you, it pays slowly. Even in my case, YouTube did not wake up. I used to wake up looking at the numbers, thinking one day, you know, and the kids used to say, maybe one day, Mommy, you're just going to wake up and you're going to have 2,000 of one video. No, YouTube does not do it that way. It doesn't matter whether your video has got 10,000. You do not wake up with 2,000 on one video unless your video has had 10 million, then maybe, you know. So as long as you don't have that expectation, Ajwa, to say one day I'm going to wake up and the numbers are going to shoot, then you're okay. Because YouTube is ad based, especially with us, it's AdSense based. So they look at the quality of your content and they keep going up with you, up, slow and steady. What you can pray for is for your numbers to go up quickly, because that way you get up the ladder faster in terms of the advertiser rates. That's what a lot of people need to. Somebody in my channel actually said they need me to walk through them, you know, like a class with them about this, how it works. There are no surprises when it comes to YouTube, but you will start seeing, you know, as your numbers go up, as you go to 6,000 or to 5.5 to 6,000, there's a slight change there, but it's not a crazy change where if you are being paid, I'm just going to give an example. If you're being paid $5 by an advertiser, then, all of a sudden, it doesn't really work like that. It's kind of like a slow and sturdy thing according to your numbers, according to your views, according to, what do they call it? You know, the way your videos are received and stuff like that. So it's gradual. You get extra, you get extra, you get extra, until that extra becomes reasonable enough for you to say, okay, now I think it's decent. Now I think I can call this a job. But that period is usually a year, 2 years. Period. Yes, it's usually about 2 years, somewhere thereabout. Unless my journey was different. My journey was a good 2 years. And even now, I cannot say I'm there. You know, I cannot say I'm there. I'm still struggling. But my journey was a very good 2 years where if I didn't have the passion, I would have walked away. I would have said, no, I'm going to do something else.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so I mean, probably we might continue this, you know, but I don't want to just dive in.
Yes,
It's a whole lot, you know. If you want to talk about this, it's like hours upon hours. Probably when we do some of the lives before I leave, we can add something more to it, you know. So I think we just end it here. If there's anything you want to know, just ask us in the comment section, you know. You can even go to see Chronicles channel, ask her anything. She's willing to assist you. Ask me anything, you know. I'm also willing to assist you. Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes. Okay, bye.